Secret friends, unite!
Hey friends, welcome back to Secret Friends Unite. Oops, all Thunderdome. This is episode 563. I am your ringleader, Charlie Carden. This is our show where we jump into a single topic in about 30 minutes or so. And I've got a regular on with me, and I got somebody new to the family. So I'm joined by Kurt. Kurt, good afternoon.
Hey, Charlie boy.
How are ya? And then we're joined by a new contributor. This is Wes. Wes is actually the husband of Joe Colton, who is on with me absolutely all the time. Wes, how are you, man?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to talking about all this stuff.
Rock and roll. Well, we are jumping into today. We're following up on Daredevil Born Again in our one of our more recent episodes. Kurt and I ran through season 1 and gave kind of a 30-minute recap to get you ready if you've never seen the show. If you have, hopefully you've gone back and watched it. And now episode 1 has dropped, and we are going to talk a little bit about our predictions. This will be spoiler-based, so I don't want you to tune in to be like, oh, now there's no reason to watch it. Definitely go watch the episode and come back and kind of listen to us pontificate about it. But before I jump into that, I am going to, as always, do a little segment I call Paying the Bills by giving some love and respect to the wonderful folks in our Secret Friends Unite Patreon over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. It's a great place to get all of our shows a day, sometimes 3 or 4 days early. Our Patreons always get the content first. We have some exclusive programming over there that you don't want to miss, including a Bad Movies podcast that I do with my wife, April, that is now becoming a monthly show, and an exclusive channel on our Discord as well. So this is the way it works. Pop on over there. You sign up for free for a week to get the content. You can also just sign up to be free just to get notifications and stuff. We'd love that. Half off your first month, and you stay on board for as little as $2 a month. So we would love to have you on board just to try us out. We've got about 3 years worth of great bonus content on there that we would love to have you check out. So again, patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. All right. Daredevil Born Again. I'm gonna jump over to Wes first. Wes, what is your background with the Daredevil character? How long have you been a fan? Did you read the comics? Did you discover him through movies or TV? Like, tell me about your background with Daredevil.
I mean, I've been reading comic books actually, let me rephrase that. I started reading comic books at probably 12, maybe earlier, but that's the earliest I can remember, like popping over to a 7-Eleven and buying them. I didn't really get into Daredevil though until he started crossovering with Spider-Man, because back in
exactly the same because he showed up in a lot of those. Yeah. Kurt, you'll appreciate this. I remember the Gang War arc in Amazing Spider-Man was in about the 280s, and that's when I was really most aware of the character. He showed up in Spectacular Spider-Man a lot during the Peter David run.
Death of Genie Wolf.
Yeah, Death of Genie Wolf, exactly. So yeah, same page.
Yeah, so I wasn't a massive fan of Daredevil. I don't think I ever necessarily have been. I enjoy the character in the doses I've been given, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like at the time, I did enjoy the Ben Affleck Daredevil for the time.
Time, right? It's well said.
But all intents and purposes, Charlie Cox is the definitive Daredevil.
Definitely, hands down. Yeah, and it's funny, April and I'll talk a little bit about this in my comments, but April and I, from inspiration from this, went back to revisit the Marvel Netflix shows, which are all on Disney+. This show is, of course, on Disney+. You probably have it unless you're a conscientious objector. A lot of people drop streaming services these days because, I hate this corporation, or I hate this thing or that thing. Okay, we don't function from that place because we love the content, we want to watch it. But all of those shows moved from Netflix over to Disney Plus a couple of years ago, but we've never revisited them. I mean, the first season of Daredevil proper aired in 2015. That's now 11 years ago. So April and I decided to go back and watch them chronologically, and I have a nice little chronological guide I pulled off of somewhere that the guy is actually very good at updating it. So, but it said, it's season 1 of that, and then it was season 1 of Jessica Jones, which we just started a couple of days ago, which is also fits in really well with this. So I'm pretty psyched about that. So, all right, well, let's dance through this show. We're going to go through a couple of categories. We'll do it round robin or just kind of take it as it goes. I mix them up a little bit. I combined two that I split one up and combined it with another because I thought it made more sense. But we're going to talk favorite moments, moments you could have done without / missed opportunities. That was one I kind of changed around. Season 2 wish list, stuff you're hoping to see in the next several episodes. And then, as I do with everything, a 1 to 10 score for the episode. So you are our newbie, Wes. So let's jump in with a couple of favorite moments of your own.
I mean, just from this episode, or
yeah, we're just talking about episode 1.
So I enjoyed that they opened the episode with him in the suit. Because the one complaint I had with season 1 was we didn't really they had a nice little opening thing, but then it was like we spent half the season of this.
No, we spent the entire season of him in his combat boots because he just gets that episode. He gets that suit because I just rewatched it. It's a 13 episode season. He gets it halfway through the last episode. Or maybe more than halfway.
I mean, the Born Again season 1.
Oh, I understand. Okay, you talk about the old show, but yeah,
an opening thing, and then it was a super slow burn
for him to get to that point. Got it.
Yeah, and so I liked how this episode was we're just going to establish the black suit right off the get go.
Right.
And another favorite moment was definitely the end of the episode, because it was just wow, this is pretty crazy. With how he's just flipping all over the place and flinging the billy clubs, and I was just wow, this is and this is only the first episode, and this is a Disney Plus show. I was I'm in, man. This is great.
Yeah, Disney Plus has definitely drank the Kool-Aid, knowing that they can snag the more mature audience because, they've absorbed Hulu. They realize that they're bringing Hulu watchers over. They realize that people who love Marvel content are people who are our age and, grew up with characters that are a little bit more rough and tumble. And not everything is Spidey and his amazing friends, that cartoon show that's on, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I'm totally on board. Kurt, give me a couple of your faves.
I liked seeing him in the suit. I enjoyed the big fight scene at the end. That was pretty good. And of course, I love how Castle saves him.
Now, that was Bullseye. I had to watch it again. There's a little Bullseye because I thought it was Castle as well. There's a little Bullseye on the knife.
My bad.
Yeah, the knife says you're welcome, and it's got the bullseye symbol.
I had to, the recap videos that I posted for us in the flow, it was in there. Otherwise, I would have missed it. I watched it again this morning and took some notes. But yeah, I Kurt, like you, I was absolutely sure because it seemed like it was a sniper bullet that it was Castle. So I totally agree.
Why would Bullseye save him?
That's what you're supposed to wonder.
Yeah, that's clearly going to be something they dive into later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm loving on, first of all, they did some obvious stuff like Karen and Matt getting back together. Okay, fine. We saw that coming, but it's very much like a buddy cop moment. So it's well, they're happy and there's absolutely no way that's going to last for long. On the flip side of it, Matt's ex, the doctor from last season, is just, you can see her crazy, just the wheels starting to spin.
Yeah.
Because she was a tragic character in the comics. Didn't she hang herself?
Yeah.
Or something like that? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But pretty serious.
All this stuff with impunity now, just lying about the swordsman's psyche val.
Yeah, total ripoff. I'm celebrating, and Kurt, you'll appreciate this because I know you know him. Michigan's own Matthew Lillard in the house as a mysterious baddie. This was in one of the videos, and I wrote, "Whiskey will not make a phone sizzle if you dunk it." That's what the guy said in the video. I never tried it, but. Kurt, you'll appreciate this, and Wes, maybe this will get into your wheelhouse as well. Could he be, because Fisk says, his name is Mr. Charles. He says that the guy, he doesn't introduce himself, and he comes into that scene with the governor's rep, who's super be like, we're going to take over and blah, blah, blah. And he says, this is my associate, Mr. Charles. Could he be Henry Peter Gyrich? And we just don't know yet. He's shaking his head, because he's working for Valentina, because he's talking to her on the phone. All right, Kurt, go ahead.
It's Gyrich, actually. And
my bad.
Gyrich is not over the top like that.
Okay.
But, maybe you're right. Maybe they're doing a different version of Gyrich. But Gyrich is just the bureaucratic asshole.
Yeah.
He doesn't come in, he's a real hard ass. He doesn't come in grandstanding like Lillard does. He's not over the top and zany.
Yeah. Is this Charles based on a character that maybe I'm not familiar with the comics that you're aware
Not
of?
that I know of. I don't know. I think
Okay.
even Matthew Lillard said in interviews he's new. He's created for the show.
Okay.
Who knows if that's just a red herring and he is someone that's just an alias of somebody. We'll see. Who knows? Who's
Yeah.
to say? But he does a good job. I like how he came in, and
Yep.
Matthew Lillard. He's allowed to chew the scenery the way a dog chews a bone. Okay.
Back to his very first thing I ever saw him through. April and I were talking about this when we were watching it. Like when I saw him in Scream back in '96, I'm like, this guy gets on my goddamn nerves. But now I'm like, you know what? He's Gen X like us. He's snotty. He's sarcastic. I've grown into him. I've grown into liking him, I think, as we get older. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a very good actor too. Like he was in Bosch a few times, and we really
okay.
That. He's I think he's really, as he's getting older, he's really starting to get more dramatic stuff, and he's really showing that with that like kind of like youthful brashness, he's got like a little bit of like, even if he's a bad guy, he's got that like wisdom to him that you're like, I can't put my thumb on this guy.
Yeah, I like that, and that's the kind of thing you need. All right, let's talk about kind of the elephant in the room of the show, and I wrote down two things. First of all, I love we got BB Urich back, the young lady, and I love it how she's playing that dumbass Gandolfini's son. I can't. Is it Rocky? What was the name of the character? The guy who was the deputy. Now he's the deputy mayor or some shit. Anyway,
his name, yeah.
She's kind of playing him like a fiddle, but she's producing those videos like she hijacked his propaganda video, but she has Fisk come out and say, "Oh, I'm your favorite mayor." Which I wonder what that's coming from. And again, we don't talk a lot of politics on our shows, but oh my God, that and the parallels to what's going on with this anti-vigilante task force with what is happening in our country right now with ICE. And again, this was made a year ago, and this is so spot on. One of their agents walks into a restaurant and decks it's a man who decks a woman, which that fucking happened in this country just within the last couple of months. A woman shot in cold blood. I mean, guys, talk to me about it. What do you guys think? Wes, what do you think?
I think art always resembles reality. And I think that The Onion has been around for a long time, and now some of the stuff that The Onion posts, I'm like, I have to double check because I'm like, was that
right?
Like that's what's really happening. So I mean, like, I'm
right.
not surprised. I mean, the Marvel's always been very like kind of on the nose with a lot of the political stuff. And I mean, Kingpin is clearly an allegory for Trump, but
Ugh.
he's not the only one though, because like the boys
right.
are doing it too. So I mean, like,
right.
I mean, like, art always imitates life, and right now it's a rough time. So I'm not surprised that they're diving into this like this like secret police version of the New York police force. And I'm hoping that when they do the Punisher one shot, they kind of touch on that too, since they're wearing his skull.
Right. And that was something that we learned again, because this is an 8-episode season, and last season was 9. Well, there's a 9th segment of this, but it will be a 60-minute Punisher one shot. So in some ways, kind of a end of the season. I don't know how it'll be. We don't have any details on it, but we just found out about this week. Kurt, what are your thoughts about the? I loaded as a Star Trek level of social commentary, but a hell of a lot less subtle, which it absolutely needs to be, in my opinion.
I agree with both of you gentlemen wholeheartedly. This is very allegorical to the polarizing times we live in. And I think, DD up against the ICE agents, let's just call them the ICE agents. Let's just call a spade a spade,
Precisely.
I think audiences want to see ICE getting theirs. And
it's very satisfying. Very satisfying.
I think that's going to be a great payoff down the road during the season. But yeah, you're right. Trump is an allegory. Kingpin is an allegory for Trump. This anti-vigilante Gestapo squad is allegory for ICE. The ICE agent slapping that woman. It's like, wow, yeah, they can get away with it. The impunity of it all.
Right. And their boss will go off to the Shield of Americas or whatever the fuck that was. Have you noticed you haven't heard anything from Christy Nome at all? Thank God. Oh man. Any other happy jump outs before we move on to things that you didn't love so much? Anybody?
I mean, I don't like the. I haven't liked the psychiatrist love interest from day one. I was just like, boy, you're going out of your way to make this character really unlikable.
Yeah, and they're
toxic.
Yeah, and ramping it up.
A little toxic. And after Elektra died, if I recall correctly, he wanted to marry her on the rebound, and eventually,
in the comics,
suicide.
Right.
So she was not good for Matt. Never has been. When Matt's got lousy taste in women, or if he doesn't, they die.
Yeah, right. God, so it's like, you know what it's like? It's like James Bond, who has great taste in women, at least to the eyes, but they all so often they end up dead. Oh my gosh. As far as kind of moments I could have done without, and I lump it in with, kind of missed opportunities. I'm kind of two minds about the gratuitous violence because, again, they have that opening scene and he's kicking the sheet, throwing guys around. But the guy, he snaps his arm and you see the bones fly out. Yeah. I probably could do without that. But at the same side of it, it really does work in its own way for the tone of the show, which is very serious, and you can't kind of Spider-Man your way through this with quips and shooting webs at guys and throwing people around, doing all this kind of different stuff. So yeah, I get it, but I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? So any other specific hates, Wes? What about you?
Well, just to piggyback off of what you were saying, I don't think it's gratuitous because it's not like every single time he hits somebody that's like that. Like, there's a lot of off-camera stomps and like impacts and stuff, and so for that to be like, as far as I'm aware, that's the only breakage they showed. I think that was their way of saying, we're going to throw this in here, we're going to pepper it in at times. It's not going to be every single impact though, because I mean, like, he's hitting people in the face with pipes, and you're not having their eyeball explode and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
Aside from dislikes, not really, especially for a first episode. I was pretty content with it. There wasn't really a whole lot of like, oh, I didn't like that at all.
Right. No, yeah, really set a good tone. What about you, Kurt?
I agree with what you said, Charlie. And at the end, when Bullseye saves him, those cops beat the hell out of him. And it's like, well, in the next episode, he's going to get a blood transfusion from Wolverine and inherit his healing power or something, because he bounces back from these things quicker than Wolverine.
Watching the first season of the original show, when he it's just him and the head of the Japanese guy, the Japanese ninja, the hand ninja, and the guy lampoons him with the one like hook thing and is dragging him around. I'm like, how does he? Oh, then he goes off and he collapses, and off screen night nurse picks him up. So I'm like, there's no way. He didn't inherit any powers except for his super sensitivity, and they trained with. He's not Captain America or Wolverine exactly. So it's stretching the imagination. So yeah,
they do always say, they mention this in the Netflix show, that like Stick taught him meditation techniques to help him heal quicker. It's
okay.
It's not instantaneous, but if it takes
sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a TV show at the end of the day, but they do establish that like he does have something of a I don't want to say on command, but he's trained his energy, I guess you can call it, to accelerate his healing as long as he can meditate and focus on it. So
it's kind of like the Snake Eyes character in G.I. Joe. In the spirit, especially in the Larry Hama run, was very much that way, because he would go through all kinds of crazy shit. Like, I mean, the way he got scarred is he was in a helicopter crash and his face got melted off. But no, I'm good. When you finally see his face years later, he's got a big scar and some of the tissue around one of his eyes missing. But he didn't lose his vision, and again, because of the comic book, he stayed in the army, which would never happen. He'd get discharged. But he was a ninja. Do the whatever, all that ninja stuff.
I thought his face would be much uglier than what they showed us, but
right. but healing. He must have healed his face or whatever it is, and that was as he was going to get. If you remember, it was late in the run of the issue. I think it was issues 90 through 93. He was going to get plastic surgery. Finally, he got it done. Then Cobra caught up with him, and he's fighting them, and one of them literally throws hot coals in his face, and the work hit. Oh man, it's all for naught. Anyway, now I'm on a tangent, and I always promised myself I wouldn't do that. So, Kurt, any other thumbs down for you, like stuff you didn't dig, or you good?
We gotta quit teasing the swordsman. We gotta see the swordsman in action. Tony Dalton's a decent actor.
He's great.
Let him strut his stuff. We've never seen the swordsman in action. We've always had.
No, that's what I was going to say, and that was my question. I know there was a clip, but I feel like I don't remember seeing it. But it was a clip of like they were showing it because somebody else shot a video, and they're like, "Here's like when they arrested him." He said, "Isn't this you?" And it's him from a distance in like a basketball court using his sword to fight somebody.
Yes. At the end of Hawkeye in the finale, he comes down to help Kate, and so he fights.
Right. Well, no, not even that. I'm talking about in the prior season of this show.
Yes, no, but I'm just saying we have seen him fight with a sword. It's just,
but not suited up. But not suited up.
We haven't seen him enough.
Agreed.
Yeah, more, definitely more. All right, let's move on to wish list for season 2. I'm going to go first, and this is particularly on brand for me because we're watching the show. But Jessica Jones, we know she's coming back. That was, of course, my terrible imitation of Kilgrave, screaming her name. But yeah, we've not seen her chronologically at all in the MCU and at all and on screen at all since I think the Marvel's Defenders. What blew my mind about those Netflix shows is that most of them had 3 seasons. And Iron Fist had a second season. I think we hated the first season so much. If I knew there was a second season, we certainly never watched it because I was watching a recap video and they're like, this stuff happened. And I'm like, did we see that? She says, we didn't. I don't think we watched it because you hated it so much. My wife said to me, and I'm like, you're probably right. Because I usually watch just about anything. I've not seen the Damien Hellstrom that like Freeform put out. You see what I mean? I don't think anybody saw it, but no, we talked about it on this show way back when. So I'm super psyched with that. I want to see what did you say?
I've forgotten about it, that they had the Hellstroms show.
Exactly. I'm super psyched to see her interact with the Punisher, who we know is coming back. Because I feel like I don't remember them doing that back in the Netflix Marvel days, unless I'm mistaken.
I don't believe they did. It was just D.D. Cage, The Fist, and Jessica Jones.
Right, right, exactly. And then other ancillary characters and different stuff. Yep. So,
in season 2.
Yeah. So people keep saying, oh man, maybe Spider-Man's going to show up, which I think is totally ridiculous. But who knows? I mean, that could be something, right? Really, if you think about all the griping, well, I suppose it would, if it's not actually Tom Holland, because remember, nobody in this universe knows who Peter Parker is, or they've met him, but they can't remember him. That's the spell. I think it's not that. For the longest time, I thought after Spider-Man No Way Home, which we're going to start doing the Spider-Man movies here on this show within the next couple of months. We're going to do a little build up to the summer of Spider-Man. For some reason, I always thought when the spell happened, everybody forgot there was ever a Peter Parker. But what it really is, or so it was explained to me in the video, is that people have met him, but they can't remember him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there was this guy in my class and blah, blah, blah. I can't remember his name, can't remember his face. I think that's the spell. And I was always kind of mistaken.
They still remember Spider-Man. They just don't remember Peter.
Right, but it's not like they erased him from history. Like, oh, he was in my class, but here's a class photo and his face is blurry or something. I don't know. But from a legal standpoint, Sony holding the reins of that character, him appearing in this show seems very unlikely. He did get a name drop last season as Fisk was talking a news report about how much he hates vigilantes. He either said somebody with webs or a Spider-Man, something like that. So that would be cool, but I'm not holding my breath. All right, Wes, what about you? What's something you're dying to see in season 2?
In case you didn't hear me, he keeps calling him an insect. That's been Alfredo's call to Spider-Man is the insect. Yeah. But anyways, I don't think we're going to see Frank. I'm pretty sure they confirmed that his whole involvement is going to be the
one shot. Okay,
but Jessica Jones will definitely be in it because they've already shown some pictures of her with Murdoch. But
right.
I would love it if they found a way to sneak the entire Defenders in.
Agreed.
All like Mike Coulter and Finn Wolfhard. Like get the Defenders.
It's not Finn Wolfhard, but I love that you said that.
I don't remember his name.
No, let's do him instead. We need a new Iron Fist. Let's get the kid from Stranger Things.
Season 2 was not as bad. I did watch both seasons of Iron Fist.
Okay, I'll watch it now. I absolutely will.
It had a dumb ending, in my opinion, but
okay,
definitely he fights a lot more people, and it's a lot less like hippie nonsense in season 2.
I love, and I know in all seriousness, I know the actor's name was Finn something, but the fact that you said Finn Wolfhard, I'm really on board with having the character cast as Finn Wolfhard. Oh, that's how you get. He's far too young, but still, I think that was awesome. So
ultimately, my wish list is I hope that we see the Defenders in.
Yeah,
I don't even care if it's just in the finale. Like, that's all I want.
And kind of tee it up because this show has been renewed for a 3rd season, so there will be more. Kurt, what about? Go ahead, please.
Has that been official?
Yeah, that was news within the last couple of weeks, so I'm not mistaken. But I will double check because I hate to be wrong. Kurt, what about you?
Well, as I mentioned, the Swordsman. Like to see him in action. I am looking forward to seeing Jessica Jones, and I hope that the storyline gets resolved by the end of this season and it's a satisfying conclusion. It's not rushed or they don't keep it on a cliffhanger. They've been dragging it out too long, in my opinion. I think they need to end it at the end of the season. We'll see.
The story for this season, you mean? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, what I read, and I'll share this link with you guys if I think to find it. It was something that Charlie Cox talking about, hey, we're wrapping up focusing on the Fisk character and we're going to move on to different pastures in the 3rd season. So I think, Kurt, you'll probably get your wish. Okay, it sounds like they're going to move that way.
I would like to see Foggy come back. Is he really dead? Is he not dead?
That's been the rumor that they're like, people offering their uneducated opinions, like, well, he's really still around, even. But yeah, that could be the great mystery. That but how would that happen?
Is indelibly too much. He's too Foggy. Let me start that over. Foggy is indelibly interwoven into the Daredevil mythos, like Aunt May is in Spidey. They tried,
but they killed her.
Yeah, but they bring her back. That's the thing. They realize you need that moral center for Spidey. Foggy is a good foil for Matt.
Right. Well, they even brought her back in the MCU because Marissa Tomei is still pushing up daisies.
Apparently,
maybe they will.
Yeah.
Apparently, there is a rumor that Foggy is still alive, that he faked his own death because there's a comic precedent to it.
Right.
That he's the one behind the fake Fisk mask.
Oh, wow.
In BB's videos where they had the guy.
Your favorite mayor?
Yeah, supposedly that might be Foggy.
Oh,
interesting. I hadn't heard of that. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Let's do some scores and some commentary. Wes, where do you land out of 10 for this first episode?
I would give it an 8.5.
Okay.
I there was a couple spots where I thought that the show was trying to introduce too much in just the first episode, but overall, I was really, really happy. And the ending of the episode, I was like, that's where it gets the 5 because I was like, "Whoa, that was a lot."
I know. Plus, they slipped in something that neither Kurt or I caught because we were sure it was the Punisher. So I had to go back and watch it a second time. So that's good. That's good when it's good and it's good when they give you something that's unexpected and maybe sometimes gives you a cause to go back and watch it again because they want to create something that's compelling. So, Kurt, what about you?
I'm with Wes. I'm giving it an 8.5.
And that's it, huh? You stand by it? No other thoughts? Come on, you're killing me.
I agree with what Wes said. They had to recap a lot because it's been a year since the last season, and that does drag it down a bit. But no, it was a good, solid episode.
Yeah,
if I'm going to give it
I agree. Go ahead. What?
It's going to blow me away.
Yeah. I was an 8.5 or a 9. Really nailed it out the gate. The violence, like I said, I'm of two ways about it, but they're building the suspense. The parallels to life in America right now
Yeah.
is so prescient. I mean, it was prescient in their time, because not like this wasn't happening a year ago, but boy, it certainly was not at the level it is now. So they just absolutely nailed it. So I said nail, head, hit. Oh, and there's your tiny associate. She was on our last episode too. Oh, she's gone. But Wes's little daughter tends to wander in. Oh, hey, there you are. Hi, sweetheart.
Do you want to say hi real quick?
Hi.
I can't. It's only an audio recording.
Hi, kiddo.
Hi there, sweetie. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right. Well, with that, we will roll this into the ethos. As I said, Daredevil Born Again does air Tuesdays on Disney Plus. It's a timed release, so you got to watch it at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's for us here in the Eastern time zone. I know I was real bummed, and Kurt and I message every day, and I said the show wasn't there when I got up on Tuesday morning. I wanted to watch it right away, but whatever. They got their reasons. They got to do what they got to do. That's absolutely fine. But when this wraps up in 2 months, 8 episodes, and after The Punisher, the three of us hopefully will come back and we will give our thoughts on the entirety of the season, and then also on the Punisher bit. So that does it for us. Wes, welcome to the family. We'll have to get your mug on the website, because we like to feature all of our contributors on our website. Where do people find you out there in the social media world?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook, both as Wes and then as Revenge City Cosplay.
Revenge City. I love it.
It's an old wrestling thing. It sounded good, and it wasn't something that was tied to any one character.
Oh, cool.
I have this thing where I'll cosplay a bunch of people for a set period of time, and then I'll move on. So this name is just stuck. Nice. Good deal. Kurt, what about you?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm Kurt Anthony Krug. That's all I have for social media.
That's all I got to say about that. And I'm, of course, I run our Secret Friends Unite social media on all of the socials except for X, because X is bad. And then my personal as well is at the C3, THECEETHREE. I have been reticent in getting out our regular 3-minute videos, doing my little kitchen chats where I do little news updates. So I'm going to get back on that after my vacation. I'm making a commitment to myself. But if you watch Daredevil Born Again episode 1, you want to give us our thoughts, secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. Drop us a note. I'll feature it on our socials. Absolutely. And we can even roll it into, obviously, when we wrap this show up. Or on any of our socials. And certainly we're out there, Secret Friends Unite on Discord as well. We'd love to have you. But with that, I will release you back into the wild. I'll tell you, thank you for joining us. Sharing is caring, and keep on trucking.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.